this is what's Doug up to do today. I've been traveling up to North Florida from down in Sarasota today, and wanted to tell a little story about FSD. I'm in a new 26 Model Y. I've got 4,000 miles on it after the first couple of months. I'm traveling on FSD now, so I'm not going to look at the camera a whole lot probably. But I went from Sarasota up to Homosassa, and if I'd left with more charge, I normally only charge my car to 70%, so I had to stop for 7 minutes in Brookville on the way back. But these cars are just awesome to travel in, and had I have known I was making the trip, I would have just charged it all the way up last night, or maybe even 90%, and I wouldn't even have had to stop. I just put 10-12% in it, is all it took to get me back home where I can charge inexpensively. But traveled all the way up there on FSD with no problems. It literally left my driveway, and it's really solid these days. There can be a couple little quirks. Every other day or so, I've got a rough spot on my driveway where the concrete's cracked and hooved up a couple inches. And sometimes it'll see that and hesitate, like it only pulls up the first 5 or 7 feet, then hesitates, and I just touch the gas and it drives across it and goes on. So, you know, it's out of an abundance of caution, I'm sure, and it's really not an inconvenience. But even little things like that, I think, is going to get better in the future. I mean, we're at the worst version. We're from now looking forward, we're on the worst version we'll ever see. That's the way I look at it. But so anyway, had a pretty flawless trip all the way up there. I mean, I don't think I disengaged for anything. I know I did, but when I disengage, it's because I changed my mind about what I want to do, or I just want to take control for some reason. You know, it's not that the car did anything wrong. It's like I just want to be in a different lane or something like that. And you know, I'm sure that happened a couple times. But you know, on the way back, I pulled into Brookville. Backed into a supercharger spot, you know, and I charged the car up a little bit, and told it to continue on the trip as I left, and it's put me on 589 South, headed home, and it's doing all the driving. And I can't tell you how fantastic it is to not have to drive anymore. I mean, I would not consider buying another new car that doesn't have FSD. Now, I'm a little bit of a Tesla fan. I had a Model S, an old one, that would not FSD. It was 2 months too old as mid-year 16, and I drove it for a couple of years. I really enjoyed the car. The experience was way better than I ever thought it would be, and you know, I learned that range anxiety is a non-factor, things like that. And so anyway, FSD took a pretty big step up here when we went to 13 dot whatever it is, 20.6 or something, if that's right. And I just had to experience it. So we went down and tested the new Y. I'd read all the articles about people saying how they'd made a lot of improvements. And when I drove the new Model Y versus I had spent 10 days in the previous generation Model Y 2 years ago, and the new one was so much nicer. This car is smooth, tight, refined, better seats, quieter inside. I mean, everything about it's better. And I'm not trying to diss on the old cars. I'm just saying they really went to work on it and made this one better. And I was so impressed with it, because I thought I was an X customer, maybe even a Cybertruck customer, in order to get the level of satisfaction that I wanted in comfort. But for $37,900, I bought a long range rear wheel drive, is the one I chose. And being in Florida, I don't need all-wheel drive, and you know, why not just get the most range I can? I guess that's the cheapest price also. But anyway, love the car. It works great. Everybody in the world ought to know about this. But anyway, I'm about an hour from home, headed south. And just before I get off here, I don't want the video to be too long. I want to tell a quick story. But last night we had went to eat barbecue at Sonny's Barbecue. There a couple exits north of the house. And as we left,
Bear right to stay on Florida 589 South.
I'll let her talk. I told my mom and my wife that were riding in the car with me, I said, well, gosh, we're almost there. Let's just ride across the Skyway Bridge and back. which wasn't really true. I mean, we was only 3 miles closer than if we left home, but we do that often anyway. So we took off and we was heading out towards the Skyway. We'd got on 275 north, and we was just cruising along on FSD, and all of a sudden a white Denali, and I'm sure he's just distracted looking at his phone or something. I mean, I couldn't even see him. He was laid back in the seat so far, kind of ghetto driving, but and that was after the fact when I seen him. He swerved hard into our lane on a long sweeping turn and was completely over coming into our lane, and FSD just moved the car over, and seems like it made a sound of some kind. It all happened so fast I can't tell you what, but I had no idea he was coming over. He was just not completely up. He was like nose to our mirror, and I didn't even know it was happening. And had I been driving, he would have hit us at 72, 73 mile an hour on the interstate. It had been a side swipe with a vehicle 50% bigger than we are, and that's really dangerous. And I don't know, I feel like FSD played a big role in us not having a major accident last night that could have been serious. And I don't know, I just wanted to pass that along. I think at this point, I think FSD has saved me a serious collision that I would have otherwise had during the same circumstances had I been driving myself. It don't get distracted and it don't miss things. It's always 100% on top of the situation, and I just couldn't be more happy with it and what it does for me. And yeah, it's just like I said, this is the worst version we're ever going to experience. It's only going to get better from here. The word is the end of September 14 will show up, and it's going to be significantly better. So can't wait to see what the future brings. That's all for now. Signing out.